Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and this is a no-spoiler review of The Marvels, the 2023 Marvel Studios team-up film with Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, Monica Rambeau, and Kamala Khan. Directed by Costa, and the movie that the Marvel fandom and the media have decided holds the entire fate of the franchise in its glowing bangled hands. I've been fascinated to see how Marvel Studios has shifted its marketing from this movie being a wacky Beastie Boys scored triple handcuff goof around to, with Marvel's final trailer this week, a high-stakes Avenger-level threat with cameos and tie-ins to the growing multiverse. So with all of this confusing marketing, in this review, I'm going to explain what to expect from this Marvel's film, my thoughts on these Marvel postmortems going around, and I'm going to do something I've always been terrified to do, and rank the Marvels compared to the other MCU titles since 2021. No major spoilers in this video beyond what Marvel has revealed in their own marketing, but if you want to go in completely blind, proceed at your own risk. Okay, let's start with my top-line headline review. Here is what I tweeted upon walking out of the theater last night, and my quote got picked up by Variety, so I guess it's newsworthy, but I stand by what I said. The Marvels is an astonishingly wacky film. I had a lot of fun. Iman Vellani was born to be an MCU star. She elevates a tangled story into a Marvel nerd's dream. Sometimes that dream wavers out of sync, but it sticks the landing. I enjoyed the Marvels more than the 2019 Captain Marvel film, but I think that's just because Iman Vellani willed this movie into success through a commitment to have a blast in every scene. The MCU needs more true believers like her. Marvel's best days are ahead of it. Now, why do I use the word fun and not good? Well, I say fun not through gritted teeth, but as a sigh of relief, because Marvel Studios needs more fun. It's at its best when it plays around with its characters, allows them to be their authentic selves, and makes us laugh. It's just been a while since I felt that way while watching an MCU movie. When you look at the Marvels as Kamala Khan's MCU dream team-up come to life, this film sings as an Avenger Stands fanfiction, which is both a beautiful thing, but also at times an off-putting virtue. I suspect the Marvels will be the most polarizing MCU film ever made, thanks to a very silly media narrative that the franchise is on life support and was on this film to resuscitate it. Anyway, some stuff works, some stuff doesn't, so let's break it down. And by the way, the best way to support what we're doing here at New Rockstars is to grab a Flurkin shirt available at nerdriot.shop. Okay, what works? Iman Vellani as Kamala Khan steps up in this film with a confidence and a charm that I haven't seen a newcomer bring to an MCU film since Tom Holland and Captain America Civil War. She's that good. It's like she was made for this. She carries the cast. Like when you watch the movie, just watch Iman in every scene. She is having the time of her life in every take, whether it's rocking out on Ladmia, hitting her stunts with some holy shit enthusiasm, and bringing the VFX to life with proper weight and disgust and pain that most MCU actors just kind of shrug at. As a true Marvel nerd, Iman Vellani delivers a delightfully goofy comic book movie. This is how it should feel, I think. And it's not just her, the entire Khan family and their bits with Nick Fury are the heart of this film. Samuel L. Jackson is back to form, perfect as Nick Fury in this film, so much so that you almost forget Secret Invasion happened. As a better film than 2019's Captain Marvel, The Marvels smartly heightens the flirkins to an insane twist that makes for the film's best scene. Lovers of cats and musical theater will be thrilled. I suspect that Ladmia will be some viewers' Love and Thunder screaming goats, but you know what? It totally worked for me. And when it comes to MCU lore and world building, it has an astonishing mid-credit scene and cameos and tie-ins that will have Marvel fans sufficiently abuzz. Now, what misses? Honestly, a lot. The energy that Iman Vellani brings as Kamala Khan is just not matched by Brie Larson as Carol Danvers or Teyonnah Parris as Monica Rambeau. Both of them are amazingly talented actresses whose characters this studio has just dragged through muddled backstories told in other people's titles. Like, I loved Monica Rambeau's introduction in WandaVision, and Monica's relationship with her mother, Maria, in that series is really the only emotional core that we can grasp onto for her in this film. She doesn't have much of a relationship with Kamala Khan, and her beef with Carol amounts to very little. Meanwhile, I blame Marvel Studios for throwing Carol Danvers in a half-dozen post-credit scenes in which Brie Larson often had no idea what title she was shooting a scene for. Other than Avengers Endgame, I don't think Marvel Studios has ever had that strong of a grasp on what makes Carol Danvers a great character. Kelly Sue DeConnick reconceived Carol Danvers in her 2011 reboot as a hero who always gets back up even when she gets knocked down. But unlike Steve Rogers, who says I could do this all day as he gets back up, Carol gets back up with a "fuck you." And the only time I think we've seen that is when Thanos headbutted Carol in Avengers Endgame and she didn't flinch. In this movie, I sense a "fuck you from Brie Larson, but really it's toward the studio for saddling her with unclear attitudes toward her co-stars and toward her past, and generally a severe lack of character development. Thanks to Harry's for sponsoring this video. If you've ever tried buying a razor, you've experienced choice paralysis, that feeling of having too many options and having no way of picking one razor over another. The best way around it, in my opinion, is just use Harry's. Harry's is a perfect balance of quality and affordability. Other blades are more expensive than Harry's, but they're charging more because they can, not because they should. Harry's sells their blades at a factory direct price, and it's the same price for everybody. There's no pink tax, you're not paying more for packaging or marketing or anything like that. You are paying for what you're getting, which is a quality razor. And Harry's is able to do this because their blades are made in their own factory in Germany, where they've been making blades for 100 years. You don't need a middleman to get a great shave, you need a great razor. Click the link in the description below to get a $13 Harry's trial set for just $5 and see for yourself. The interplanetary crisis created by Dar Ben in this film presents fascinating implications for the politics and the astrophysics of the MCU, but it's all rested on the shoulders of an unforgettable villain that Zawe Ashton works so hard to bring texture to, but we spend far too long watching her do things in this movie with no sense of her objective. Structurally, the first act of this film is kind of a mess, which is fun for the cosmic entanglement slapstick humor, but disorienting as a narrative experience. But wait, Voss, I thought you said you liked this movie. I did! But if I brush over the stuff that I didn't like about it, you wouldn't believe me when I say that I really like Kamala and the Flerkens. They are that good that they make up for these other shortcomings. But many will see the Marvels as proof in their minds that Marvel Studios is on the decline. So is Marvel dead? I have to say that I find these headlines to be so funny, because many of them even make sweeping statements about YouTube views for Marvel content being lower than usual, even for good titles like Loki, even on big channels like New Rockstars. I gotta clear a few things up here, folks. New Rockstars Loki Season 2 coverage is doing fine for us. Like, we're not sweating over here. You should all know that the numbers that you see on a YouTube channel or a podcast network or a website covering movie news only reflect that outlet's success at covering that news and their connection with their audience, and not the health of the franchise itself. Asking Marvel is dead is really just a popular way at the moment to boost short-term engagement by playing into fan anxiety. Now, I don't fault anyone for doing that, but it's not the whole picture. The reality is, any other Hollywood studio right now would love to trade places with Marvel. And if you're seeing lower performance on Marvel films, it's not the result of Marvel fatigue, it's a result of franchise fatigue. All movie studios are pumping out sequels and spin-offs that fans didn't really ask for. Indiana Jones 5, Hunger Games prequel, Fast X, Aquaman 2, a Flash movie that kills the Spider-Verse and brings back Clooney. Folks, the fatigue runs deeper than Marvel, but the state of the industry is looking bright. Barbie, Oppenheimer, Mario, Five Nights at Freddy's. All of these were big event films and IP unexplored on film that fans were curious about. Even Pixar's Elemental, a movie that the trades wrote off when it supposedly bombed at the beginning of the summer, totally rallied throughout the summer for fans curious about what this interesting, weird concept was, and ended up being a huge success. So I just think it's silly to say that Marvel is dead in a year with huge successes from Loki, from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. The Marvel brand is alive and well. It's all about the optics, folks. If Disney and other studios just paid their talent what they were asking for sooner, we would by now have a Deadpool 3 trailer and a Fantastic Four announcement, and no one would be asking if Marvel was dead. We would know that with Marvel's biggest names coming home, the MCU's best days are clearly ahead of it. Now, before I get to my final thoughts and where I rank the Marvels, a few reminders. My breakdown of the post-credit scenes and the way this movie ends and how it moves the ball forward in the MCU are coming to the channel on Thursday. We are going to put a spoiler-free thumbnail on that video, as we customarily do, but early next week, we are going to update the packaging when our spoiler window ends, and you will see a different thumbnail on it. So if you care about what happens in this movie, but you're not planning on seeing it opening weekend, yet you insist on living on social media anyways with zero filters, it's your own fault if you get spoiled. Also, new Rockstar scene-by-scene breakdown of the Easter eggs in this movie is coming Saturday after we get through our breakdown of the Loki finale. The Loki breakdown coming Friday. Joining me for our breakdown of the Marvels will be special guest Jessica Clemens, who also saw the movie last night and has her own hot takes of the movie. And if you live in the LA area and want to come talk about this movie with us in person, we are doing a live show at Braindead Studios on Thursday, November 16th. Ticket info in the description. Okay, my final thoughts and ranking. The Marvels is not a great film, but it is a lot of fun, and it is worth seeing alone for Kamala Khan. Among MCU movies that have come out out since 2021, I rank it right in the middle, above Quantumania, but beneath Wakanda Forever, just because Wakanda Forever was a better film in its performances, its themes, its production design, its music, even if it had some real low lows. And so that you can all get the full context of where I think Marvel is at right now, here's where I think the Marvels ranks among all MCU titles since 2021, including the Disney Plus titles. Oh god, you're gonna yell at me in the comments over how I ranked all this stuff, and I don't care. It may change over time, but this is how I'm ranking it right now in November 2023. But let us know in the comments below whether you plan on seeing the Marvels opening night, opening weekend, next week, or when it hits streaming, or never. And if you already saw the movie, where does it rank for you? Support us by getting a Flurkin shirt at nerdriot.shop. Subscribe to all 3 channels on the New Rockstars network. You can follow me at EA Voss, and I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.